students. This is Mastan Rao, MD, Assistant Professor in the Department of CSE. As a part of our regular classwork, today we are going to discuss about GSM in the unit number 1. GSM, in yesterday's class we discussed about GSM and what is GSM. GSM is a global system for mobile communication. All we are using this GSM, all we are daily we are experiencing the GSM. We are using our SIM cards in our cellular phones, mobile phones. GSM is a global system for mobile communication. By using this by everyone is experiencing the GSM, it will provide so many services, and it is the by using this GSM we can able to access voice services, non-voice services. Moving to the first one for today's topic. These are the contents we are going to discuss in GSM. Introduction about GSM or GSM and what are the several services provided by GSM, and complete architecture of GSM, and how the security will be achieved in GSM, and what are the characteristics of GSM standard and advantages of GSM, and how the future of the GSM will be. These are the topics that we are going to discuss today's class. Now, moving to the first one, what is GSM? GSM is a global system for mobile communication. It is used for mobile communication, and it is a second generation of cellular standards to serve the voice services and data services using digital modulation. GSM uses digital modulation, and it will provide voice services and data services as well. Moving to the history about GSM, this one was developed by uh, Group Special Mobile, in 1982, which was an initiative of Conference of European Post Telecommunication. This GSM is named as Global System for Mobile Communication in the year 1989. In the phase 2, the GSM specification occurs in 1995. The GSM coverage, earlier the coverage will be limited to only some areas only the metros and some cities only. Later in phase 2 in 1995, the total coverage of GSM is extended to rural areas also. Today, even though it is a remote village, all we are experiencing and all we are using the GSM services. This is how the GSM is in the world. These are the figures in March 2005. These are the several figures. In 2005, only 3% of Indians are using this GSM services, and 3% of Indians are using GSM services. And these are the several countries experiencing and using the GSM service in the year March 2005. These are also the figures of March 2005, and who are the providers of GSM? Who are the providers of GSM? These are some BSNL, Hutch, Idea, BPL, Aircel, Spice, Reliance, MTNL, Bharati. These are the several service providers who will provide GSM services to the customers. These are the several percentages and their contribution of this GSM in India. Okay, this is that is all about the GSM. What is GSM and what is the contribution of GSM in the March 2005 figures. Now moving to the GSM services. The GSM will provide majorly 3 types of services. The first service is teleservice. Bearer service and data services is same, bearer service or data services, and third one is supplementary services. All these three services, and daily we are experiencing and availing these three services as we are GSM users. As we are all are using GSM, we are experiencing these three services daily. Moving to the first one, teleservices. GSM offers several services. Teleservices means the telecommunication service that can enables the users for voice communication via mobile phones. All we are using GSM phones for voice communication, and it will offer some services like mobile telephony, that means mobile calling and emergency calling. Even though we are not having signal, and even though we are not having enough permissions to call, in those cases the emergency calling will be enabled. Okay, telecommunication mainly uh, enables the user for voice communication via mobile phones. Okay, this one offer two services. One is mobile telephony service and emergency calling service. The second type of services, these are called as bearer services or uh, data services. All we know about data services. In data services, uh, including along with GSM, the data services is provided by PSTN, Public Switched Telephone Network, and ISDN, International Standards, ISDN, etc. The data rates, the transmission rate is from 300 to 9061 bytes per second. 300 to 9600 bytes per second. And next, coming to the next service in the bearer service is SMS, that is message service. SMS is known as short message service. Up to 160 character alphanumeric data transmission uh, can able to send or receive to the mobile terminal. Total 160 numerical characters and that data transmission, that is either to send the message or to receive the message. This is in case of SMS, short message service. Next one, another one more services in bearer service is voice mailbox. Voice mailbox is nothing but if our mobile is not reachable, if our mobile is not available during that time, anyone can able to send the voice SMS and voice message. Then those all messages are stored in voice mailbox. Later, once we get connected, we can able to check the voice mailbox to listen the voices. Okay, these are the bearer services. Bearer services are also known as data services. Moving to the supplementary services, next one, last one. These supplementary services are mainly related to calls. These are known as call related services. We know about these services: call waiting option in our mobile phone, call hold option, call bearing, call forwarding, and group calls, that is called as multi-party call conferencing. Uh, First one, call waiting. Call waiting, we can enable this option in our GSM. This is an offer. This is a service offered by GSM. This can enabled by the user in the settings of the calls. Okay, call hold also, all we know about call hold. Once the communication is happening, we can during any time we can hold that call. Okay, next, call bearing calls. Okay, call forwarding, we can forward calls to another number or another person. Next, multi-party calling or group calling. This is known as conference call or group call. All these supplementary services are provided by GSM services. We need to know these services are not provided by a mobile phone. These services are provided by a SIM. The service provider. Service provider will give us a SIM. Now, by using that SIM, subscriber identity module, we can avail these services. Okay, I'm repeating once again: tele services, bearer services or data services, and last one, supplementary services. These are the services provided by GSM to all users. Moving to the next one, this is very important one with respect to examination point of also. GSM architecture. This is before going to discuss about GSM architecture, we need to know some points and some observations. First one here, see, we are using SIM cards. SIM means subscriber identity module. Subscriber identity module. Next one, ME means mobile equipment. All these words comes in GSM architecture. ME means mobile equipment. BTS. BTS means, here see BTS. BTS means base transceiver station. Base transceiver station. The other name for BTS is base station or cell phone tower. We can't name it as cell phone tower. The actual name is base transceiver station, which can transmit the radio signals to the mobile phone users. Next one, BSC. BSC means base station controller. BSC means base station controller. Next, home HLR. HLR means home location register. HLR means here HLR. HLR means home location register. VLR means visitor location register. MSC means mobile switching center or mobile services switching center. EIR means equipment identity register. AUC means authentication center. And this PSTN, ISDN, PSPDN, CSPDN, several data service providers. These are the several data service providers. This is the complete architecture of GSM. In GSM, we are having three parts. See, first see individually. Next I will explain the working procedure of GSM. Here the GSM architecture containing three parts. One is RSS. This one is above one, RSS. See where my cursor is pointing. RSS. This is known as radio subsystem. Next one in the middle one, NSS. That is network subsystem. And last one is OSS, operating subsystem. OSS means operating subsystem, NSS means network subsystem, and RSS means a radio subsystem. Okay. See, first I will explain what are the components of this GSM architecture in OSS, NSS, and RSS. Later, I will explain the working procedure of this GSM. See, I will explain next the working procedure. See, there are several components of GSM architecture. The first one is mobile station. Mobile station is nothing but a mobile device, that is mobile equipment, which are using the GSM services. And second one is subscriber identity module. These two are the parts of mobile station that is represented in the diagram as mobile station MS. Next one is, we have seen here, see here the BSS. This one is in the circle, the in here BSS. This BSS means base station subsystem. Base station subsystem. This base station subsystem is containing, BTS. See here, this base station subsystem is containing BTS and BSC. See here, observe. BTS and BSC. This particular one, this colored one is called a radio cell. This colored one is called a radio cell. In the radio cell, two components are present. One is mobile station and another one is BTS. The mobile station will get a radio transmission from BTS. This is a wireless approach that is represented with like this arrow mark. This is the wireless transmission. Mobile stations will get a signals or transmission from BTS. The interface used between mobile station and BTS is UM interface. This UM interface is used to connect the mobile station and BTS, base transceiver station. And this one also this is also a radio cell. Okay. Now moving to the next one. BSS, base station subsystem, contains two components. One is BTS and second one is BSC, base station controller. Base station control, that is represented as BSC. That is represented as BSC. Next one, next component in GSM architecture, that is network switching subsystem. Network switching subsystem. See in the diagram, NSS is in the middle. NSS is in the middle one. NSS, network subsystem, switching subsystem. In this network switching subsystem, we have the components. We have the components MSC, that is called as mobile switching center, MSC, and location register. We have two types of registers here. One is home location register and second one is visitor location register. I will explain what is home location register and what is visitor location register. The home location register means, suppose we are the, let's take an example of, we are the subscriber of one Airtel. We are a Airtel subscriber. Our information will be stored at the subscriber home location register, the service provider home location register. All our information will be stored at home location register permanently. Now coming to the visitor location register, as we are the subscriber of one service provider at one place. Now we are moving from one place to another place. Suppose we entered into another state network. Then our mobile is switched to another network. Then our information is stored at that service provider. That means another state service provider register. Our information will be temporarily stored in other service register. That is called as visitor location register. For general example is, suppose our general example of our college students. If you are, as long as you are in Chebrolu Engineering College, all your information will be stored in our college database, our college register. Suppose when we went for give a presentation in another college, what they will do, first you need to register at the entrance point of the college. They will note your information. Who are you? What is your roll number? From which college you are coming? And what is the purpose of this one? All that information will be temporarily. Why? Because you are visitor to that college. Your information will be temporarily stored in visitor location register. As long as you are in that college, until and unless your presentation is completed, your information will be presented over there. Once you get back to the home network, your information will be deleted. Because it is a temporary database. The permanent database is home location register. All your information will be, or calls information, SMS information, every information regarding your SIM, that is your GSM, about the subscriber, about the customer, all information will be stored in home location register. This is the difference between home location register and this one, visitor location register. Home location register is a permanent database. Visitor location register is a temporary database. Next one, authentication center. Here, this is the authentication center, AUC. Here we can find last one. This one is a AUC, authentication center. And last one is equipment identity register. Coming to the equipment identity register, all we know, our mobile is having every mobile device is having a IMEI number. Every mobile device is having a that number is unique for each mobile device. That number is unique number. No two mobile devices is having the same number. Okay, this IMEI number will be stored at equipment identity register. This equipment identity register will help us, like whenever we lost our mobile phone, whenever we lost, that is, this IMEI number is different from SIM number, SIM number. Whenever we lost our mobile phone or to trace our mobile phone, what they will do is, the every device number is stored in EIR, equipment identity register. By using that this number only, they can track where is our mobile phone, which GSM connection is using that, which GSM number is using through this equipment, through this IMEI number, and every information will be stored at this GSM. Suppose we are using our mobile phone. Let's a small example and a small confirmation regarding this one. Whenever whenever we are connected to our customer care, without telling our information, they will tell which mobile you are using, which handset you are using. How come they know which handset we are using? What they will track is, whenever we insert a GSM SIM, on in our mobile phone, automatically our device information will goes to the service provider. In that way, our service provider knows which handset, which model handset you are using, which mobile device you are using. Okay, this is the importance of equipment identity register. This will be used whenever we lost the mobile, when we need to track. In those cases, this equipment identity register will be used. This register will contain all devices IMEI numbers, Next, a system architecture of mobile station. Already I told you the mobile station is made up of with two entities. Like our mobile is having two parts, right? But one is mobile phone, that is handset or mobile equipment. The second part is subscriber identity module, that is SIM card. These are the two components or two entities we have. Now, coming to the mobile equipment or mobile device, all we know, the mobile is portable and we can mount that in vehicle, and that is a handheld device. All mobile devices are handheld devices. Mostly mobile devices are handheld devices and portable devices. And as I said before, every mobile device is uniquely identified by IMEI number. Every mobile device IMEI number is a unique number. That is International Mobile Equipment Identity Number. International Mobile Equipment Identity Number. This one is a unique number, and this number is stored in Equipment Identity Register. And by using this mobile phone, voice transmission can be possible. That is nothing but voice. We can able to use for voice communication, or we can able to use for data communication or data transmission. And in mobile equipment, we can able to check the power and signal quality. What is the percentage of the battery, and what is the how long the battery will be alive, and the signal quality of surrounding cell phone points, the surroundings, and handover management. Coming to the handover management, suppose, listen carefully, the handover is very important topic and simple topic. Handover is nothing but, suppose we are using a mobile device and we are moving from one place to another place. As we are moving, our mobile will be handed over to different BTS. Our mobile will be handed over to different BTS. Our mobile is crossed different BTS, that is base transceiver stations. Every base transceiver station radius is 30-kilometer radius. 30-kilometer radius. As we are moving away from one BTS, one base transceiver station, our mobile signal strength will be decreases, and as we are moving close to the BTS, our mobile signal strength will be increased. And coming to the handover point, our mobile is handed over to another BTS, which is closest to our mobile device, which is nearest to our mobile device. That means the main concept of handover is the connectivity does not be lost. The connectivity does not be lost. Why? Because suppose we are in a voice communication. Suppose we are in a voice communication. We are talking, and we are taking a call. As we are moving, we are talking a call. We are in voice communication. Even though the handover happens, the connectivity does not last. This is the importance of handover management. Okay. Next one, the power levels is 0.8 for mobile equipment. The power level is 0.8 watts to 20 watts, and the SMS capacity is 160 character longs. Already I told you 160 characters numerics. Even some can provide much long. First one, we discussed first one, mobile equipment in the mobile station. Next one is very important one, that is subscriber identity module. Subscriber identity module. The subscriber identity module, every SIM card contain one number, that is IMSI, that is International Mobile Subscriber Identity. One IMSI number, that is International Mobile Subscriber Identity. Okay, this SIM card allows the user to send and receives the calls and other type of services. That is, already I told you, by using GSM, we can avail three types of service. One is bearer service, supplementary service, and tele service. These are the three different services we can avail through this GSM. Okay, and every SIM card is protected by a password or PIN number. All we know, whenever we can able to put a password or a PIN number to our SIM. Even though our SIM is lost, if any other, if our SIM is stolen, if our SIM is lost, and that cannot be accessed by others unless they don't know the PIN or password. This is the one security parameter for subscriber identity module. And the SIM can be moved from one phone to another phone, and if we put a key, it will ask for key. If we put a password, it will ask for password. Whenever we change the device, whenever we change that SIM to another device, If it doesn't put any PIN or password, it does not ask for to enter any PIN or password. These are the features of subscriber identity module. Moving to the next part of the this GSM architecture, that is BSS, that is base station subsystem. That is base station subsystem. Already I just go back to the diagram. This is BSS in the circle, the above one. In the BSS, I told you the components of BSS are base station. BSS means base station subsystem. In base station subsystem, we have two radio cells. See, these two are radio cells. These colored ones are radio cells. In these radio cells, we are having two components, BTS and mobile station. These two are exchanging the information by using an interface. This is the radio interface. This is the wireless interface. This is the wireless interface. Every mobile device is accessing wireless interface. Now we are discussing about BSS, that is base station subsystem. Base station subsystem. Yeah, here the base station subsystem is composed of two parts that communicate across the standard ABIS interface, allowing the operation between the components made by different suppliers. Okay, this is the purpose. This is the purpose of base station subsystem. This base station subsystem contains two components. Those are base transceiver station and second one is base station controller. Very important ones. Base transceiver station, second one base station controller. First one, BTS means BTS, base transceiver station. In our words, it is a cellular phone tower or cell phone tower. The responsibilities of this BTS is it encodes, encrypts, multiplexes, modulates, and feeds the radio frequency signals into the antenna. It will do encodes. It will encode the data, the exchange data, and it needs to encrypt the voice communication, because if two persons are in a voice communication, if third person is trying to listen trying to eavesdrop that communication, that should be in a encrypted way. Encrypted means even though they hear the communication, they can't understand what they are communicating, and it will multiplexes and it will modulates and feeds the radio frequency signals to the antenna. This is the major responsibility of base transceiver station. And what the BTS will do is it communicates with mobile station and base station controller. It communicates with mobile station and base station controller. BSC means base station controller, and it consists of transceivers units. Transceiver means it can receive. Transceiver means it can able to receive and send. These are containing transceiver units. Moving to the next part of BSS, base station subsystem, that is base station controller. The major responsibility of base station controller is it manages the radio resources for BTS. It manages the radio resources for BTS. Radio, all you need to know what is radio. I'm telling repeatedly, radio. All this wireless communication is happening through radio signals. These signals are called radio signals. That is why I'm saying every time radio. It manages the BSC, base station controller manages radio resources for BTS. And it assigns the frequency and time slots for all mobile stations in its area. This is very important one. if it assigns the frequency. The frequency means the transmission rate. The frequency means transmission rate. The transmission rate is decided by the BSC to the BTS. Whenever in some cases we have seen when we are experiencing low signal and less signal rate, and in those cases what they will do is they will increase the frequency. They will increase the frequency of the BTS in order to increase the base transceiver station or cell phone tower frequency. That is the possibility of BTA, that is BSC. BSC will increase or decrease the frequency of BTS. Okay, listen here. And it will handles the call setup. Call setup means uh, what we know is how the calling process will be. Uh, whenever a mobile device, whenever a mobile device wants to, whenever our mobile device wants to make a call, that call, suppose I want to call another person, what how the procedure will be like. The first that call will goes to the BTS. That means our service provider base transceiver station. From our BTS to the receivers BTS. Suppose I am using Airtel. I'm sender, I am using Airtel. My call will goes to the my service provider base transceiver station. There, the BSC will check the BSC will make the call setup. That call will directly not goes to the receiver from our BTS, our service provider BTS to receiver service provider BTS, and their receiver service at receiver service provider BTS, the BSC will switch that call to the receiver. Okay. In the last topic, how the calling procedure will be, I will explain there. It handles the call setup. Call setup means to receive the call and to make a call. And handover management for each mobile station. Handover management for each mobile station will be controlled by a base station controller. Handover management, I told earlier how the handover will happens. Last one, it communicates with MSC and BTS. I will show you how it communicates with MSC and BTS. See here. See my cursor where is pointed. This is BSC. This communicates with BTS. Here BTS, this BTS and this BTS. See my cursor. This BSC, base station controller, is communicated with BTS, and here MSC, mobile switching center. BSC will communicate with BTS and MSC. Okay. Okay, this is all about base station controller. Moving to the next concept of this GSM architecture, network switching subsystem or network subsystem. These are having the following components. These are having the following components. Those are MSC, mobile switching center, MSC mobile switching center, home location register, visitor location register, authentication center, equipment identity register. These are the components of network subsystem. I will show you in the diagram. In the network subsystem, MSC, mobile switching center, visitor location register, home location register, equipment identity register. See, don't confuse here. This equipment identity register, authentication center also comes in NSS only. This is the not part of OSS. Equipment identity register, see my cursor, equipment identity register, authentication center, home location register, visitor location register, and MSC. These are all comes under the category of network subsystem or network subswitching subsystem. Moving to the first component of network switching subsystem, that is MSC. MSC means mobile switching center. This mobile switching center is very, very important one, and it is the heart of the complete network, What it will do is it manages the communication between GSM and other networks. Other networks means we are from mobile device, we can make call to another mobile, or we can make to call to another networks, that is PSTN, ISDN, other networks also. By using our GSM, we can able to communicate with other networks also. All this communication management will be done by mobile switching center, MSC. And the billing information and collection, that is billing information means our mobile's GSM billing and collection information will be done by mobile switching center. Here, as I said before, one point in today's class, if our mobile device enters into other area, that means we are in AP, we moves from AP to Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Telangana. That is, in those cases, the mobility management comes into picture. The mobility management comes into picture when our mobile device enters into other networks, what we need to do is, what internally happened is, see, whenever you everyone is experienced, I think most of you people aware of this thing. When we entered into other state, when we our mobile device will get a message, welcome to Tamil Nadu state tel, welcome to Karnataka state tel, like that we'll get a message. Okay, hence our mobile device enters into other networks. What internally happens is the registration. That means our mobile device in home network, there is no registration is required. Only one-time registration while taking the GSM SIM. But when we are entered into other network, all the times whenever we entered into the other networks, our mobile needs to registered with their service, their register. As I said before, when our college student went to give a presentation at another college, our information will be stored at one college. Now we entered into our student went to one more college. Their information will be stored. So here every visited location, what we required while entering into the network, we need a registration. Like that only our mobile mobile station GSM must register with that network. That is called registration procedure. And location updating also responsibility. Location updating, we know about location updating, and to track the information, that is location updating. This is also can be handled by mobile switching center. Next one, inter BSS, that is inter base station subsystem and inter MSC call handoff. This I will explain later because these are not important here. Inter BSS and inter MSC will be, inter means other, intra means within. Yeah, just I will give you a small information. Inter BSS means within our network. Sorry, out of our network. Intra BSS means within our network. Okay, that I will explain. This point only you remember. Inter means with the out of network. Intra means within the network. Next one, home location register. This is as I said before, this is a permanent database, and it stores the information of each subscriber. All we are subscribers of GSM. All our information will be permanently or temporarily stored in the register. As soon as the mobile subscriber leaves its current local area, the information in the HLRV is updated. That means, suppose, see this one. As soon as the mobile subscriber leaves from home location register, suppose our student went to give a presentation or to attend some workshop in another college, that information will be stored at our college, home college. That information must and should be recorded by our home college. That is what here. And it contains the database. This home location register contains the database like IMSI, International Mobile Subscriber Identity, and MSISDN, prepaid, postpaid, roaming restrictions, supplementary services, all these information, whether the SIM is prepaid, whether the SIM is postpaid, and what are the roaming restrictions. Roaming restrictions means we are having, suppose some networks may not have access in other networks because due to roaming restrictions, we cannot able to access the network services and supplementary services. All these informations will be stored in a database in home location register. Moving to the next one, visitor location register. It is a temporary database. HLR is a permanent database. VLR is a temporary database which updates whenever a new mobile station enters its area. Whenever a new mobile center, so that means a new mobile station enters into that area, or it temporarily stores the database. It temporarily stores with the database. Next. TMSI means temporary mobile subscriber identity. TMSI means like whenever one student came to our college, what we will do, we will give him a temporary identity card which contains a name. To track him, the TMSI will be useful for us. Similarly, when our mobile station enters into others network, what they will give is a TMSI number to this SIM. TMSI means temporary mobile subscriber identity to each mobile station entering into that area. That means visitor location register area. And this is keeps on changing. Suppose we are moving at one network to another network. One network changes, TMSI changes. Okay. Next. It controls the mobile's roaming in its area. It restricts, or it can controls the roaming restrictions. And it will also maintain a database like IMSI number, International Mobile Subscriber Identity, MSI ISDN number, location, area, authentication key, and every information will be stored in a visitor location database. Next, authentication center. All you might aware of this authentication as you are learning about this security, and you know about this authentication. Authentication mainly depends upon algorithms. Authentication center contains algorithms for authentication, and as well as keys for to algorithm and keys it will maintain for encryption. To do encryption, all we know, we need a key, we need a message, and we need a key. Then only we can perform. We need for encryption, we need an algorithm, a key, and message. Then only we can perform encryption. And this authentication center will contain algorithms, keys, and this is for encryption. And next one is it protects the network operators from fraud. This authentication itself meant it will check the authenticity. It will check the authenticity. It will, okay. It will protect the network operators from the fraud. Network operators from the fraud. And this authentication center is part of home location register. This authentication center is protected part of home location register. See one general example for this authentication. This general example for this authentication is, suppose our student went to our student went to another college to give a presentation. How those persons knows he is authenticated person or not? He is authenticated by, because he is not belongs to other college. He is from our college. He went to give a presentation at another college. What they will do is they will check the authentication of the student. The how it will be checked? The authentication will be checked by identity card or some letter presented given by the principal or some head of the department, like that. This is the authentication check. Okay, this is protected part of home location register. Why? Because in some cases what they will do, they will check their HLR. They will check they HLR means HLR will be at Chevrolet Engineering College. They will ask, they will call to our principal or head of the department, some so and so person came here, he belongs to your college or not. They will check whether he belongs to, they will check the information. Okay, next one, equipment identity register. Equipment identity register, as I said before, it will store every device information, every mobile station information registered for the network. That means when we insert a SIM card in a mobile device, that mobile device information will be mobile station, device information will be stored at service provider home location register. This database used to track the handsets. Whenever some theft is happening, some of the mobile is lost. In those cases, to keep track of the handsets, we are using the IMEI number, and that is International Mobile Equipment Identity. So this number is a unique number and it is used to track the handset devices, and it prevents from stolen, unauthorized and defective mobile devices. Okay, this already I told you, stolen, unauthorized or defective mobile devices. Next, last one, Operation and Maintenance Center, OMC, Operation and centralized. This is the centralized operation of various units. I will show you where it is. OMC, last one, bottom of the diagram. OMC, Operation Management Control. It is a centralized operation of various units in the system and functions needed to maintain the subsystems. And it is having the dynamic monitoring and controlling the entire network. Coming to the responsibilities of this OMC, Operations and Maintenance Center, in configuration management, and fault report and alarm handling, performance management. Performance means, coming to the performance, that is, I told you signal rate, transmission rate. The signal rate is weak in some areas. In those cases, they need to improve the performance and they need to supervise the situation and they will check whether the signal is weak or strong, and in those cases the performance measures can be taken place. And last one, storage of system software and data. And every system software data and system software and data will be stored at operation maintenance center. Security in GSM. Every GSM uses the interface, air interface, that is wireless interface. GSM uses an encryption. Why? Because they need to provide security to the voice communication, and they need to give the data services, because by using GSM we are availing voice services and non-voice services, that is data services. For these two they need to give security. Hence the GSM uses encryption and uh, TMSI instead of IMSI. That is, SIM is provided by 4 to 8 digit PIN number. That is first security parameter. Every SIM is provided by 4 to 8 digit PIN number to validate the ownership of the SIM. If we know the PIN number, we are the owner, like that. Every SIM is protected against the PIN number, that is size is 4 to 8 digit. Here mainly we are using three algorithms. Those are A3 algorithm, A5 algorithm. A3 is for authentication, A3 is for authentication, A5 is for encryption, A8 algorithm is for key generation. A3, A5, A8 for authentication, encryption and key generation. In next class, we'll discuss about the working procedure. Mostly we discussed about a complete components of this one, this radio subsystem. We discussed about all these things. This is radio cell, I told you, mobile station, base station subsystem. See my cursor. This is BTS, this is UM interface, radio interface. This is also radio cell, BSC, base station controller, MSC, mobile switching center, VLR, visitor location register, HLR, home location register, VLR, MSC, GMSC. I will tell you GMSC in the working procedure, and EIR, equipment identity register, AUC, authentication center, OMC, operation, maintenance and control. We discussed about total components of this GSM architecture. In tomorrow's class, I will explain the working procedure. This is very simple procedure, how the working procedure will be. Working procedure is nothing but how these are interconnected, how these are. Here I told you BSC connects with BTS and MSC, and what is the importance of this connectivity, I will explain in the next class. Okay, thank you. If you have any doubts, please put a message in my WhatsApp.